What's going on, Boulder? We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got to dive into what's going on with this team right now, as well as what to expect going up against Wyoming here on the Prime Time for College Football podcast. Thank y'all for pulling up. I'm your boy Jay. It's a Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. We got a special guest joining us. We got David Talks Buffs. He's going to join us once again. We're going to dive into what's going on with the Buffs. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification over there on his channel as he talks Buffs all the time. But yeah, right now, man, the Buffs, things are in flux. I dropped a video earlier and we talked a little bit about just how there are some positives in the negatives that's going on here in Boulder, but we gotta keep an eye on the prize. But I think the Buffs will turn things around. There's a lot of confirmations that we desperately need from Colorado. So here it is. Let's jump right in here with our guy David Talks Buffs. Talk some ball. Before we start off, have you guys checked out the Sleeper app? Have you ever heard of it? Just know that it's not just for season-long daily fantasy. This year, millions of users are going to be able to experience the greatness that is the Sleeper app. They've got live stats, so real-time updates. You can visualize all the stats that's going on, as well as a news feed that gives you all the updates on your favorite players, as well as teams that you root for, and any players you may have, dove on when it comes to daily fantasy football. Also, a real-time chat allows you to engage with other users and everything right there in front of you. So check it out. Download the #1 sports app out today. Use our promo code PRIMETIME and you will get a $100 match on your first deposit up to $100. So terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. What's good, Buffs fans? We got our guy David Talks Buff. Follow him on YouTube, David Talks Buff, as well as David Talks. Is it Broncos or... Yeah. Dave Talks Broncos. There we go. It's both mascots. What I thought. We got my guy coming in. We're going to talk some Buff stuff and talk about what's going on with Colorado. So make sure to like, subscribe, and notification on both channels here on Prime Time for College Football, as well as over there, David Talks Buff. So, David, talk to me, man. Let's start off with the ugly. Man, like it's starting off 1-2. Prime, of course, went into, there's video of him talking to the team and team meetings of, I think Dabo Sweeney started off 1-2 one year and they finished the year 10-2. Is there a chance for the Buffs to finish the year on a 9-game winning streak?
Oh my God, I hope so. Hey, if you're playing games, there's always a chance, right?
Fair.
But, yeah. I'm not one for a lot of moral victories or anything like that, but you would probably want to come out of this game with Houston with a little bit more moral victories to kind of feel that way. Again, it's still early, so I'm not going to completely count us out. But I say right now, overall, I'm just disappointed, I think, right now with the lack of physicality, the lack of identity that this offense has. And really the biggest disappointment, though, I know we'll talk mainly about the offense, but, man, this defense, I thought they were going to be stronger under Coach Swayze. I thought that they were going to be faster with some of the transfers and recruits that they brought in. And right now, sadly, we allowed Connor Wigman to have the best game of his career since 2022 or 2023. But it was rough. He looked like Lamar Jackson out there against some of our linebackers, which was really difficult. The defense, I thought, is what would bring us to contention in the Big 12. And right now, they can't stop a nosebleed.
Can't stop a runny nose, can't stop anything. And that's actually was the thing for me too, is I expected this defense to be the thing that carried the Buffs. But right now the defense does not look good. It cannot stop a run whatsoever. And that is not something I would have ever expected from a Robert Livingston defense. Because last year it was so good. Yes. Top 40 in just about every statistical category you could imagine that matters. And yeah, it is really, really it's been brutal. The run defense. I mean, what can you attribute it to? Is the linebacker play just that bad? Is it the interior? What are you seeing?
It's tough, man, because I felt like we got much better play last year from our linebackers compared to 23 because our defensive line was that stout. Of course, Chidozie Nwankwo was really important for the defense, but
Yeah, he really was.
he did miss some games. Like, he did miss some games last year, and so you've had a lot of returners. I think this team has 37, 38 seniors. A lot of those guys are on defense. A lot of returning guys on that defensive line and in the edge group. So, to me, I'm wondering if they're if losing Damian Lewis with him going back to his alma mater at Miami, if that was a, a subtraction or a loss of the staff that was really overlooked, because some of the guys that I was most excited about seeing play like their final year, such as Amari McNeil, like Anquin Barnes, we just have not seen our older players, our upperclassmen, really step up and take that next step in their game that I think we were all expecting.
Yeah, I know. And so Prime's talking about, of course, coming up this weekend is family weekend, so it's going to be packed. A lot of people are going to be in town, and they're playing Wyoming, which Wyoming right now, I don't know if people want to hear this, but they've got a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually playing really good defense right now. How do you feel about the Buffs? Like, we'll dive into position by position, but how do you feel about the Buffs being able to even match up with Wyoming right now?
Right now, we need to find an identity that is
That's
not
true.
trying to play Shador ball without Shador, and I feel like that's really what we've tried to do. We need to get more creative on first down. I was just having a discussion with my friend Rawhide on his stream about how they ran a lot on first down and they got minimal gain, and we were really fighting a lot from second and long last game. Well, we got to be more creative. I have called every week right now for a new play caller, but I think we're going to be getting Pat Shurmur. Something needs to change, though, with having more motion, more creativity on this offense. You got Simeon Price averaging 10 yards a carry last game, got 5 carries. And I feel like I'm saying the same stuff every week, but it would be great if we could establish the run and take some pressure off of our quarterback. I don't know who's going to start on Saturday, but it would be great for them not to have the full weight of the offense on their shoulders to carry the offense. Like, let's really emphasize these running backs and have a balanced attack.
Yeah, let's focus here on the run game. You're 100% right. I think that's the one thing that has bothered me about the team so far this year, is that the running backs seem to have done what you would like. Like, the whenever you give them the ball, like, statistically, they're playing good football. Now, granted, I guess the big question you can ask yourself is, if you give them the ball more, do their numbers drop? It's a good question. Like Simeon Price out here, 19 carries, 135. He's got 7 yards per carry. Yes. Like, David, like, should this team push more to run the ball? Because I'm still going to say it. This is the one thing that has jumped out to me the most in this situation, in this entire season, is I expect Colorado to, and what I want is, put the ball in Kaiden Salter's hands and have that man get some design runs where he looks like he's going to pass and then he scrambles out and gets the yards. He was a dual threat at Liberty. Why isn't he being used for that right now?
That's the big question, I feel like, because Pat Shurmur has had Kaiden Salter in his room since January. This is a guy they targeted specifically to take over for Shador. And why I was so critical of, even after the first game, saying Pat Shurmur's got to go, is because you've had 9 months and it just looked like you plugged him in to the Shador offense and said, be Shador. Like, we should be playing more running style football. We should be having, this is what I was expecting, Jay, was to have more of a Liberty style Kaiden Salter centered offense where you're integrating triple option, speed option, RPO. You're doing things that he's comfortable with. And, like, if we can call a game like that, I definitely want to see Kaiden Salter play. The problem is that our coaching staff so far has shown themselves to be incapable of scheming towards the strengths of their players. And I think that's why you saw that 3 quarterback competition all of a sudden spring up against Delaware. And hey, I understand it. Like, go with Ryan Staub because Pat Shurmur feels like he can actually call the right offense for that type of quarterback. There's more chemistry, but I think that we just saw against Houston that there just isn't the upside that you'd be hoping for with him at quarterback. So I really don't know where we go from here, because I don't think doing the same thing that we've done the first 3 games are going to lead to wins on offense. But I also, this staff has not shown that they can scheme correctly towards the strength of their players.
That's the crazy part. Even at to this point, speaking of offense, and you talk about the Shedeur offense that it appears that Colorado is running, and I see a lot of resemblance with that. But the one thing that this offense has that Shedeur didn't have a lot of is time. I dropped a video earlier this morning of the PFF grades for this offensive line, and they've been highly graded so far this year. Like, the pass protection is immaculate. The run has not been that great, but you still have put up 300 yards in rushing.
Yes.
Like 372 yards. So the big question is, what more do you need to do to keep that going? Like, do you need to get the ball to Michael Welch more? I mean, you're averaging roughly 4 yards per carry. Do you need to get Kaiden Salter more involved in that? Because, like you said, I guess for me is, I'm wondering, is Pat Shurmur discouraging Kaiden Salter from throwing the ball? I think that's where my biggest question comes in.
I think a lot of this thing is mental with him. And it's something that I'm trying to parse out, like, what is going on. Because again, when I'm just looking at it with the performance that he had against Georgia Tech, I thought it was a fine performance. To go from that to, we're going to have 3 quarterbacks because we don't know who our quarterback is, that's an incredibly short leash.
Yeah.
Especially with inexperienced players behind Kaiden Salter. And I almost feel like right now, the expectation, and I don't feel like this is fair, is that the quarterback play needs to be elite. We don't have an elite quarterback on the roster right now. No. At all. And it's why it's important, why everybody keeps saying this. You gotta center around the run game. You know who could help the offensive line and the run game is having a running quarterback and running some plays that are designed to highlight that. But we saw against Georgia Tech, it just wasn't highlighted. Same against Delaware. And of course, you weren't running that stuff really with Ryan Staub because he's not that type of quarterback. But
kind of gave you a little bit of that against Houston. Ran it in for that touchdown.
You know what? He did.
That's what you wanted. That's what you want. Just scramble it. You got it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to put myself in Kaiden Salter's shoes, and it just feels like a lot of whiplash, man. Again, if you didn't believe in him, and if you were going to give him one game of incredibly high expectation, like, why have him running with the ones the entire offseason if he was on this short of a leash? Again, I got more questions than answers right now, Jay. I just don't. It's hard for me to make sense of this, because even with poor Colorado teams, man, we knew the pecking order. We at least knew the identity that they were trying to establish. Yeah. Here it just seems very misguided or week to week at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it feels so, like you said, it feels like it's a week to week setup. It's not it doesn't feel like the identity is missing. I guess that's just the simplest way to keep it at. It's we both feel like there is no identity when there should really be an identity, because this team should have one, especially with that. Let's transition out. I really do want to talk about this defense, David.
Yes.
Before we do that, shout out to our partners over there at Sleeper. Have you checked them out for daily fantasy football? If not, man, you are missing out. You can test your knowledge, your football acumen, Same thing with all of your sports acumen in there. What you do is you pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their statistics for the game, what you predict is going to happen, and you can cash out big. Turn those game days into paydays. So check them out. Download the application because it's more than just season-long fantasy. There's more to it. Use our code PRIMETIME, and if you deposit $100 on the first time, they will match you up to that $100. So check them out. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So, what's going on with our boy Rob Livingston, man? This defense has given up so much, so many yards just in general, averaging 430 yards per game right now. Worst in the Big 12, by the way. I'm not even going to look at how bad it is everywhere else, but 613 yards rushing that's been given up, which is second worst behind Kansas State. 677 passing yards, which is 13th in the conference, just above Iowa State, Arizona State, and Kansas State, which seems like all the states are really bad this year right now. And that's, of course, in 3 games, as some have played 4. I don't get it. This defense was so good last year, and I felt like the secondary was going to be even better.
Yes.
Like, DJ McKinney is still, he's still playing good ball, but overall, man, the defense is not looking good. What is it about this defense? What are you seeing when it comes to this defense so far?
I don't think they're disciplined right now at all. I think that's a huge issue when it comes to playing the run specifically. Also, I was expecting this defense to be faster than last year. They're not faster than last year. I don't know if we have as good of athletes as we had last year. And so, again, are we expecting our DBs to all cover like DJ McKinney or Travis Hunter? Because right now we do not have the athletes to play as much man coverage as we're playing right now. And it's really biting us in the butt against pass and the run, to be honest. So to me, it's like I almost want to see Robert Livingston, again, scheme towards the strength of his players. Maybe we should integrate zone more often. I don't know if I'll necessarily fault the linebackers too much, again, because I think the defensive line has not gotten the push and penetration that you want to see, particularly over these last 2 games. I thought we fought valiantly against Georgia Tech, although we gave up a lot of points. But when I look at it right now, I still think Georgia Tech was probably our best defensive performance. I mean, a lot of people forget we gave up 400 yards of offense essentially to Delaware. And we were just getting turnovers at the end of those drives. Like, this defense has been Swiss cheese. And at this point, you can't just continue to say, you know what, we're going to run man 80, 90% of the time and expect to see better results. Got to switch things up.
I agree with you there. It feels like with this defense, it's just the scheme feels like they're running a lot of just nonstop man, and they're putting these dudes on islands like this for too long. It's especially if you're not getting enough of a push.
Yes.
On the defensive line. Yeah, it's not going to work. But the other thing is, and I think that this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about a minute ago with Houston. They really are, like, for real, just giving up rushing yards. Straight up the middle. It's like no one's adjusting to the fact that teams are going to keep running at you because they can. I would keep running at you.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Dude, we saw both Delaware and Houston take a look at what Georgia Tech did to be successful against Colorado, and they schemed those plays and concepts into their offenses against us. Yeah. Why do we not do the same thing against our opponents on offense and defense right now?
That's a good point. I don't know. It's a good question. What is I mean, I guess having that fast of success could give you a pseudo, I guess, God complex in all of this, but I don't think Rob Livingston has that. To me, I don't feel like he's one that gives the, oh, I'm, better. No, I think we're fine. We just need to keep doing the same thing over and over, and eventually it's going to be figured out. No, it feels like he's a guy that adjusts.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we get him to adjust, though?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have guys that aren't ready to run more complicated zone looks, things like that? Well, then what are we doing? Who are we bringing in? How come all these other teams are super transfer portal heavy and they can run defenses? Right. They can run more than a couple different plays defensively. Why can't we? Again, I got a lot more questions than answers right now. And two, I got to say this. I know this is kind of a tangent, Jay, but you bring in Marshall Faulk. I was so pumped about this because I'm like, you don't bring in a gold jacket Hall of Fame running back to just not give their guys the ball and not establish a run. I'm shocked. I got to say, 3 weeks in, I'm shocked that we've seen that exact thing play out.
I mean, I'm wondering if it's a function of how bad the run blocking has overall been. I mean, it's not grading very well by a lot of the expert eyes out there, but you still see a nice amount of burst. I mean, you 4 yards a carry average, you're getting big runs, you're getting big breaks that are leading to touchdowns. Why? I mean, I know that can be a somewhat semi-illusion, but should you keep doing that?
You only get the 38-yard run from Simeon Price if you continue to pound that rock, man.
That's true.
Sometimes you got to be a little stubborn with that for the overall health of your offense, like moving forward. But again, with kind of this week-to-week feel right now, we get out of that very, very quickly. Then we're down, so we got to pass it. So, yeah, I'm hoping Coach Prime can right this ship. Like, I don't know if other people feel like this compared to me, but over the last 2 weeks, it's like this was as tough as that Stanford loss was a couple years ago, man. Like right now, like in terms of my disappointment with this team. And I'm really hoping that sometimes you got to reach rock bottom before you can dig yourself out. And I'm hoping Coach Prime, even though he's not going to say that he's making big adjustments to the media, he's just never going to say that. I'm hoping that this was a time to where you really look yourself in the mirror and say, am I expecting these guys to be something that they're not?
Yeah.
So how can we adjust?
Now, Prime is saying that, in practice that, the defense is showing up and they're showing up full pads and they didn't feel like we played well, so they got to work. And so they practice on Saturday, practice on Sunday, and they're putting in the effort and the work on it. But my question is, will that translate on the field?
Right now, we got an offense that's ranked outside the top 100, and we have a defense that's ranked outside the top 100. So I don't really know.
Yeah, that's the bad part. And I mean,
so they can go out and have a good practice. You're not playing anybody good right now.
Fair. It's a fair point. I do like the fact that they're out there working and they recognize that they have to be better if they are going to be successful. Period. Like that's the good thing. Mm-hmm. Is I can't knock them for the fact that that's what they're doing. They're saying, no, we're going to be better. If we're going to be good, we have to play better. And by the way we play better is to practice better. And we practice at full speed. We practice with urgency and intensity. But that still leads on to the question that we both asked. What is the identity on the offensive side of the ball? Which is, to me, if you can establish that, maybe that can help the defense. But the defense still has its struggles.
Yeah.
I want to follow up. Let's talk about this Wyoming game. Think you know ball? Think you know football? Well, put your knowledge to the test and turn that into real money here with the Sleeper app. All you got to do is pick two or more players, pick more or less on their statistics. Like, for example, we're looking on here for Thursday Night Football. Tua Tagovailoa is the promo at 0.5 passing yards. Of course, we're going to pick more on that one. The luck of the Irish should get us that. But in that game, you can also check out all kinds of other promos. So we got Keon Coleman at 2.5 receptions. I'm going to pick more on that one. You can even look at some baseball stuff, but we're going to stick here to NFL right now. But you pick more or less on the stats. I'm going to go with Knox as less. And then once you pick that entry, boom, you are in the game. The cool part about it is if you hit in these picks, you can win up to 1,000 times your money if those picks win. So use our promo code PRIMETIME and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. David. Wyoming is 2-1.
Yeah.
They gave Utah the business. And Utah has a pretty darn good offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question's going to be of what do you think the Buffs will need to show you this weekend as, let me see, as we record this today, Colorado in this game should be a pretty big spread. 13 and a half point favorite right now on most books.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do you think the Buffs can cover this spread?
I think they can, but right now until this defense shows me that they can stop anybody, I'm just going to be taking the over. I took the over last week. I'm going to be taking the over on I think it's 44.5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to see this team blow out a team and take care of business before I start to predict that. So I'm expecting us to go out and get this win, but it would not shock me. I think right now I would say it's probably going to be a 10-point game because, again, I don't have confidence in this defense right now. I need to see it. Even though this Wyoming offense isn't great, there's no reason Delaware should have done what they did against us, putting up 400 yards of offense. So I am expecting a win. I'm expecting us to feel better going up against BYU here in a week, even though that's going to be really, really difficult. Yep. But winning solves everything, man. We need a win. And again, I don't think we have a team that has a bad level of talent. I do not. We saw a lot of these players, particularly on defense, play very well last year, particularly on the defensive line. So I think some of this has to do with scheme. Can our coaches, and you might say, well, they can't run. They haven't been running the stuff with confidence. Well, no, it's your job as coaches to get its talent in order. I think we're leaving a lot of chips on the table, so to speak, right now. I don't think we're maximizing the output of what these guys can bring. We're a better football team, I think, than what we've shown so far. And we have the opportunity to get that right against Wyoming.
I agree with you there. This is definitely one of those that this team can right the ship, I guess you could say, by starting off fast. And that's kind of what some of the players are saying. DJ McKinney said it in the presser. Mm-hmm. We need to start fast. We need to go. Taufik Bayard says that he's now 100% healthy.
Good.
Him and Ben feel like they're the two safeties that are really balling out. I don't know what's going on with Carter Stoudemire. It feels like he has just been...
It's been a rough year for Carter,
it's been rough for our guy. Yeah. I need him to get... I think he'll tighten up in time, but Prime talked about in the presser, too, about consistency at the quarterback position, leadership, and consistency. So going into this game, who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback?
It's probably different than who I want, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I think they're going to go with Ryan Staub. I think that's, again, I have no inside information. I have no inside indication. But to me, it just seems like, hey, when you're talking about leadership, I think Staub has demonstrated that more so than Kaiden Salter has right now. Again, I don't think Ryan Staub has been held to the same standard right now as Kaiden Salter. And I am not quite ready to see Julian Lewis just yet. But I want to put that out of the equation, dude. Any of these guys could start this week, Jay. And honestly, I don't really care too much about who it is. What I care about is just playing one quarterback through the whole game. That's what I care about.
Yeah, just having one guy play and let them be the one that leads the way. I have a feeling that they're going to switch back to Kaiden Salter at some point.
I'm okay with that.
And for me, what I liked about Ryan and the Delaware game showed it, and honestly, portions of the Houston game showed it too. He was willing to push the ball up the field.
Yes.
You've got Sincere Brown out there. Throw him. Joseph Williams, really good. Throw him. Hakeem Williams, as we're talking, he's transferred. Draylon Miller, Omarion Miller. You've got some really good, talented wide receivers. Push the ball up the field and hit those dudes, not only on their routes, but in stride. This team put out some really good wide receivers in the NFL draft. We need to be leveraging these big bodies. I mean, heck, get Trackhawk out there. You know, he does a really good job of going out as a running back and going to catching into the flats, across the middle, whatever. But pushing the ball down the field feels like the thing that you'll see the most success with this roster and the way it's built. And it doesn't feel like Colorado's doing that or taking advantage of that.
No.
That's what I want. I want Kaiden Salter to give us that portion of it. I don't think Juju's ready. It's nothing against him. I just don't think he's ready.
Yeah.
I think he can be in time. But he plays like a freshman. And I feel like that unless you're like a generational, quote unquote generational freshman, takes time to get yourself to that point. But I think he's got the talent to get there. I think that in time he'll develop into that. But I need Salter or Staub to go out there and continue to launch it. Yes. This team is built for deep passes. This team is, we saw Sincere do it against Delaware. Like, we should have been doing more of that against Houston. Like, I don't think, as much as Latrell McCutcheon was out there, being physical, big receiver should be able to hit that dude down.
I agree.
So, yeah, I'm with you. Kind of want Salter to go back out there. I need to see a combination. We're probably going to end up seeing two quarterbacks play in this game. I sense it's going to be a quarterback in the first half, quarterback in the second half, mainly because it's Wyoming and you got your 13.5 point favorite, so you should be able to win this game easily. Yeah. Like, this game should not feel like it's ever in jeopardy.
Yes.
But Wyoming is a very physical team, and they play very physical. So if you baby and play soft, they may push you around.
Hey, and they're playing in prime time too. They're going to be motivated, on ESPN. As long, again, I'm just hoping the coaching staff can integrate some of those plays that we've seen throughout the offseason of Kaiden Salter doing his thing. Like, I think that the only reason I'm picking Staub right now is because the coaching staff is not giving me confidence they can call a game effectively for Kaiden Salter. If they can demonstrate that, Jay, that they can, and I'm back on this train, baby. I think we can do some real damage. I think we can do some damage if Kaiden Salter is unleashed. I hope to God that's this week.
Yeah. All you got to do is unleash him. Let the man go out there and play. I think it can happen. David, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah. David Talks Sports on TikTok, David Talks Buffs, and David Talks Broncos on YouTube. Thanks so much, Jay. I really enjoy doing this. And yeah, maybe, as the season goes on, hopefully we can have a little bit more celebratory of a show. I'm really dying to freak out about some of these players that we got hopefully balling out for us soon.
Same. I'm hoping the continued experiment with Coach Prime continues to flourish, and the way that flourish is by this team going out there and being successful. So check out David Talks Buff over there. Follow us here at the Primetime for College Football. Thank y'all for pulling up. All right, that's some good stuff. What I got, David Talks Buff. Check him out. Links in the description below for all the details of where to find him. So thank y'all for pulling up to the Primetime for College Football podcast here on YouTube, as well as what podcasts are downloaded and listened to. Hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification, and join the family. And we'll keep talking ball. Let's go Buffs.